Interestingly enough, and it's a little hard to see now, we discovered all kinds of traces of old wiring that ran for various reasons in various routes here and was replaced. For instance, we can see here there was two wires that went through, and this was a switch of some kind, and it may have been for the original air compressor, which was located down underneath. We aren't sure. At some point they put the air compressor wire and switch up here, but this wire, which we replaced, by the way, but the one that came with the car was down there. This will go down through and it comes back out here, and at this point the air compressor governor will sit. There's where the screws for it were. And then there'll be another wire that goes from that out to the air compressor. So that's one old wire. Over here on this side there's another switch. Now what that was for, it may have been for heat, it may have been for lights, I don't know. There's no way of telling, but up here is where a wire must have gone through to it, and the wire went like this, went down here, back up, and we've left the holes here for where the screws were, and I'm going to put screws back in there when we're all done after we're through painting, and that'll be to kind of like dropping breadcrumbs that you can see where the original wiring was. At this point right here, it was all charred, so they may have had a fire. Also on the inside of this post, it was all burned, and whether that was the same fire or not, I don't know. For some reason, these two post caps were screwed on rather than nailed like all the rest of them, so they had to take it apart to get at something here. So that wire went all the way around, and you can just barely spot the where the staples were, and eventually around up to something up here. And then there was another, when they changed from 1 to 2 poles and back again, they added wires, and I know that this number 2 end here, you can see where the main wire comes in off the roof, goes through the switch and down to the controller. Well, at one point it went down and all the way around the end at this level, and all the way to the other end. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And then there was another wires that came down inside the corners. There were these staples everywhere. There was a wire that went, you can just barely see, I've left a few of the screws in and staples, that must have gone, it went along here, through, no, went on either side of this, excuse me, on either side of the rib. And then it, because of the splice there, the Dutchman, it disappeared. So it's interesting, all the history here. I've traced it all. This